Hello and welcome back to SGTV, where we are once again joined by Graham Anslow from Anslow Electrical. Today we are going to be talking about becoming self-employed. The idea of becoming self-employed can be quite a daunting aspect. You know, there's a lot of how do you do this, how do you do that, and it can put a lot of people off, where in actual fact I think becoming self-employed can be quite a rewarding and quite an independent position to be in. So Graham, what can you tell us about how you became self-employed?
Basically, like I said, I started an apprenticeship at 16, so quite a traditional way of doing it. So I was from 16 till 20, so it took 4 years. 1 day release at college, and like I say, I used to cycle 14 miles a day through the winters. So for the first 18 months, our boss was very old-fashioned. He basically wanted us to make our own way to work and not rely on parents, which was, not at the time not appreciated, but long term it does give you them life lessons.
Definitely.
So you can imagine I did pass my test within 3 months of becoming 17. So even before I was able to drive, I used to get there at say 7:45, get all the vans up and running, get them warmed up for the guys, clock everybody in as they come in, and just do all the the rough jobs really, and just learn from the bottom, build your way up. Obviously carrying people's tools and doing all the donkey work really to start with.
Yeah. Was you employed from another company, or did you go straight into
Luckily my boss took me on for another 2 years, but then unfortunately he had to make us redundant, so the 6 of us had to all go our own ways, but he basically wound up the company. But luckily from that, I gained a percentage of the company's clients anyway, so I just went around with business cards, obviously people that I'd worked for since 16 anyway, so I'd already built that kind of relationship with the customer. So going self-employed at age 22, quite a daunting thing, but exciting.
Yeah.
But luckily my parents, they were self-employed anyway, so going on to that,
to sort of give you that knowledge of the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, so I wasn't really scared of the business side of it really. It was just nice to have that freedom. Even the last 2 or 3 years, even in my apprenticeship, I used to go out on my own in my own van, so I was kind of used to that independence.
Yeah.
Going to different places, meeting different customers every day, and it's quite exciting.
I think obviously building your client base is a big aspect of it, because that's your income at the end of the day. But did you find like accountants, financial advisors, any of that type of thing was a thing you needed? Or
no, like I say, luckily most of my advice came from my dad, and he used to do his own accounts, so I basically copied that, and I do all my own accounts, and I still do now after 12 years. So
it's quite reassuring, really, to know that you can do that. That you don't have to go down that route of I need financial advisors or accountants doing everything, and because that can be a part of the daunt, I suppose, of you having to worry about paying these people. But if you know you can do it yourself, then that's obviously going to be reassuring.
Yeah, and there's nothing stopping you doing it yourself for a year or two, and then if it gets too much, you can then introduce an accountant or people to help you. But if you get bigger and you find you can't do everything, but I quite enjoy doing that side of things. Because at the end of the day, when you fill your tax return in, you've still got to sign it at the end of it. So if the accountant gets it wrong, it's still your liability. So I'd rather do it myself.
Would you say there are any particular pros and cons to being self-employed?
The only cons is obviously if you're not working, you're not getting paid. So that's kind of a classic really. You go on holiday for a week, obviously you're not getting paid. So you have got to make sure that the money you earn, you factor that in. You can't just spend all the money you get every week, because then you're going to have no money left.
Yeah.
But I'd say that's the only thing really that's a negative. I think the positives for me far outweigh not getting paid when you're not working.
I think independence, I mean, I know from speaking to people that are working for themselves, the independence is a massive factor. Not to say that they're not working all the time. It can be little things, can't it? Like if you've got to take your kids to the doctors or a parents' evening, you've got that freedom to
you can. That's what I do. You can arrange with a client, work, turn up at 7 in the morning if you have to, and then you finish by 3. You've got that flexibility. Obviously, it's not for everybody, but I think it's not until maybe you're in your 20s that you realise you're either independent or you're good at being told what to do. But I've never been good at that.
Yeah.
So
I know from working as part of a team, it's great to have other people to bounce ideas off or even learn things from. Do you find if you're self-employed and working alone, you may have to sort of look elsewhere for that new knowledge or inspiration?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I tend to use a bit of social media for that kind of thing, because it is an industry where everything is just your opinion and your way of doing it. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the only way and that's the right way or the wrong way. So it is good to see other people's point of view and get help that way if you need it.
One thing we like to ask people that come on the show is good, bad and weird experiences of being self-employed.
Yeah.
Could you give any examples of that?
Well, weird, I'd go down the road of, I had to do some fault finding at a house for an old lady. In the early days, I had my phone on 24 hours a day, so I got a phone call at 11:30 at night, and it was a trip fault, so that she had no electrics at all. She's on her own, vulnerable in her 80s, so obviously you've got to go out. You can't just say we'll wait till the morning. So I went out there. I got my dad to come with me as well, and we got there. We started testing, racking our brain. Just couldn't find a problem. Everything was. We got it down to the garage, so that was on its own circuit, had its own little distribution board in there. So we went in the garage, took the lid off the consumer unit in there, and there was a slug across the main terminals, so across the live and the neutral, and that was obviously creating the short, which then was the issue for the whole house. So we obviously removed the slug, dried it all out, got it all going, and within an hour, the lady was very happy. But what amazes me every time I tell that story, people just say, "Was the slug okay? Was the slug alive?"
Was it okay?
Well, I'm not. I don't think so. But it's So that was probably the most memorable one, and I did actually share that on Twitter, and I did have a few other guys coming back saying they had the similar thing, because they must start climbing to get to a warmer place or whatever. So I'd say the only bad experiences is through probably non-payment. That's something that everybody deals with, and that's probably another negative or con of being self-employed. You've got that potential issue of doing a job for somebody, doing it, being keen, getting there, and then waiting months and months and then never getting paid.
What would you do in that scenario? Because again, I know that's something from having spoken to various trades about. It's always a worry. They've all experienced it. So what would you do?
Well, for me, luckily and ironically, it normally seems to be the low payments up to £100. They're the people that aren't paying. So you might have an invoice for £2,000. The next day it's paid, but a small amount like £50, £100, they're the ones that don't seem to get paid. So to be honest, it's not even worth it. And I'm lucky that the contacts and the clients I've got, they are repeat customers. They are normally through people that already use me, so I don't just get
that
random
good relationship.
So I very rarely get that, touch wood. It's only happened probably a couple of times in 12 years, so I'm quite lucky in that sense.
Well, I hope anyone out there who's thinking of becoming self-employed finds this helpful. Graham, where could our followers find you if they wanted to find out what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Anslow Electric. Give us a follow. Lots of product testing, day-to-day being an electrician and stuff like that, really. So yeah.
If you'd like to find out more or hear more from me and Graham, please do like and subscribe, and we hope to see you again soon.